Alright. So it turns out the accent for the last one was really juicy for some of you. So here's another to start this video. This is really all you're seeking right here. It's not even really seeking in the way that we usually put it. It's simply the way we engage. The hunger that we seem to feel, the sense of desire, there's actually nothing wrong with that experience. It's the moving outside of what's showing up that tends to create that sense of suffering or that sense of disassociation or disengagement or however you want to put that. So in this video, we're just going to cover a metaphor that seems to have provided quite a bit of leverage for people on the path. And we're going to get kind of cheesy with it. So we're going to take that present moment that we speak to all the time, and we're going to objectify it. We're going to turn it into an object for the sake of this metaphor. And to get really cheesy, it's going to be a literal metaphor. So now the present is a gift. It's a large gift wrapped box. And it has some bow, it has ribbon, and it has some intricate wrapping paper on it. And at first, what I do is I start tearing through that paper. I want to know what's inside that box. And I rip the ribbon off and I rip the bow off and I thrust open the lid of that box, and inside I see another gift wrapped box. In the instant it's recognized that there's another box, there's this, what we could just call a scoring of a loss, that damn experience. And so I pull that box out. It's wrapped differently, but it doesn't matter. I start tearing through that paper. I tear the ribbon, I tear the bow off, and I pull open the other box, and inside is another gift wrapped box. Man, it's one of these experiences. Feels like a loss for us. And so now I start to step into something a little bit more desperate. I start to, at a high speed, start to move into tearing into the paper and ripping the ribbon off and ripping the bow off. And every time I open the box, there's another box inside gift wrapped. And I'm doing it over and over again, this time with a manic energy. And this is important too, to recognize that the speed in which we move, the speed in which we're pushing for an experience, actually elicits a response that we could just call high energy anxiety or fear. It tends to be the body reminding us of something. It's saying, pay attention. It's responding to our experience in a way that's basically convincing us that we're in a state of survival. And it tends to be like this. The faster we go, the more we live in this experience that we can call fear. And the more that we're living in fear, the more selfish we become, because we start becoming extremely self-oriented. To protect ourselves, we start actually hurting ourselves and hurting other people through our choices. Because when we're in that state of survival, we don't really have the ability to extend beyond what feels like a very personal experience. So in the metaphor, I'm just tearing through and I'm experiencing more anxiety, and it's like a feedback loop. It's feeding more energy, that's now feeding more energy, that's feeding more energy. And it's just this manic, rabid tearing through these boxes to find out what's inside. Yet as I go, I start to notice something. I start to notice aspects of the sensing and sensation that comes along with unwrapping that gift. I start to know the way, the sense that the paper is tearing, and I'm picking up on something extremely sensual, and I suddenly move my attention into the senses here. In the way that paper tears, it's actually being savored now. It tears always in a different way. The sound, the sensations, the intricate design on the paper, the way that the ribbon is on it, and the texture of the ribbon and the bow is always tied a little bit differently. And it's just this now delicate process of being so immersed in the unwrapping that I suddenly don't care what's inside the box anymore. I become completely enraptured in the unwrapping. And as I lift the lid of that box, which has such a pleasant sound and feeling and actual weight to it, and I look inside and I see another gift wrap box, my response is no longer scoring a loss. It is yes, because the experience speaks for itself. More unwrapping. And so I pull out that box and I begin to trace fingers along the crease, and I get my fingers in there and pop off the tape that's securing it, and feel that paper, feel this feeling of it crumpling in the hand and the way it tears off the box. And it's just almost like an artistic expression of engaging the unwrapping itself. And the realization becomes really clear here. Doesn't matter what's in the box. This is all about the unwrapping. It's just unwrapping. This is really all we are seeking in terms of truest nature. It's not really that we're looking for something that's out there or something that we're apart from. It's actually almost like a gravitational pull. It's like attracts like. It's this motion together. And it can often be translated by the mind as seeking. This hunger, this desire, this feeling of missing something is just the energy of coming into wholeness. And that wholeness is seemingly absolutely discovered in the unwrapping of the present, in the unwrapping of this gift. So from this point forward, we could just take some of the cues from previous videos. Let curiosity live in the senses, and just know that curiosity itself is the unwrapping. It's the experience of unwrapping. It's not the potential conclusion of what's in the box. And the benefit here is sometimes we find something inside the box as a bonus, but we still don't really care about this outcome. We're not conditioned to find some sort of payoff here. Instead, we celebrate the bonus, but it's still only about the unwrapping. And here you will start to step into every experience, regardless of quality, regardless of context, and you will absolutely be engaged, because that in itself is the unwrapping. This is all you're seeking. This is it. It's not out here. We often get confused in the detail of thought. It's often misunderstood, but it's just simply engaging with what's right here, right now, and just being in the midst of the unwrapping. And you might remember what it was like if you celebrated Christmas, or even if you had a birthday coming up and you had an anticipated gift. It was the unwrapping of the gift. It was the opening of the gift that seemingly was the best part, yet we didn't tend to realize that until everything was said and done. After tearing through all those presents and we realized there was nothing left to unwrap, we kind of had a little sense of sadness in that, if you remember. And that shows us something, that really it wasn't about what was in that box. It wasn't about what potential lied inside. It wasn't about whatever payoff or outcome. It was about the unwrapping itself. So let this just be your cue. Play in this way. Utilize this metaphor. The present is a gift, and it's all about the unwrapping, and that's it. If you can bring experience and attention that close to home, there will be plenty of insight to see, and you'll start to see plenty of things around thoughts, and you'll start to notice certain patterns of experience that will just become clearer and clearer just in the midst of the unwrapping. So hopefully you will take it upon yourself to start playing in this way and just unwrap. Just enjoy the unwrapping. Listen to the way the paper is tearing. Feel the sensations of the smoothness and the texture on the ribbon in the bow, and just the feeling of running your fingers along the edge of that box. Every aspect of this experience is absolutely absorbed, drunk in. And would love to hear your experience in this as well. So as you unwrap and you move into just the unwrapping, let us know how that goes. Let us know what things show up. Let us know what kind of patterns you've noticed in thought. Because going back to another metaphor, we cannot lift the box that we are inside. So if we step outside the box of thought, we start to be able to lift this box. We start to be able to carry this box in a way that really gives us a sense of what's going on in these automatic reactions, this identity that seems to run for us. So would definitely love to hear more about the experience as you entertain this, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for listening and participating. Thank you for everyone who is a member, and everyone who bought some gifts and things like that for the channel recently. Really genuinely appreciate the sense of community here, and look forward to maybe playing with more impressions at the beginning of videos and doing this again. So have fun, and it's just in the unwrapping itself.